So Republicans are always talking about how they're the party of freedom, but let's just be real about it. You've removed bodily autonomy rights from women. You have removed basic human rights from the trans community. You have removed inclusion rights from the LGBTQ plus community to the point where you can't even mention the community or anything relating to the community in educational centers and government offices in certain states.
Let's talk for a minute about freedom. Now, as this video points out, the Republicans are not the party of freedom. They've done a good job branding themselves as such. A lot of people think that that's what Republicans stand for. They stand for small government, limited government interference into your private life, the freedom and liberty to do whatever you want. But in reality, in this moment we're living in right now, shows that's not the case.
You have disproportionately supported a for-profit prison system that breaks apart certain communities at an incredibly high rate. Your racism is very clear. You've even gone as far as to attempt and fail to block a Supreme Court justice from becoming one due to the color of her skin, because it certainly wasn't due to her qualifications. There is nothing about this party that represents freedom for anybody that isn't, let's be real, white, straight, cis, and male.
Let me explain. Last week we heard that the Supreme Court is planning to totally overturn Roe versus Wade. Now that's going to strip bodily autonomy and the right to control your own reproductive system for millions and millions of people. And this is the government telling those people what they can and can't do with their body when they're pregnant. And you can easily see how that, which Republicans support, and largely Republicans in Congress steadfastly support, that isn't freedom. That is the government telling you what you can and can't do with your body. That should go against everything that they stand for, but they're hypocrites, and nobody on the right really seems to care. Unfortunately, hypocrisy isn't really a big motivator in politics. It's just kind of commonplace. Everyone accepts it as reality. But what this represents, again, is just branding. Republicans are really good at branding, and it's in iconography, it's in their language, the use of the American flag, the use of overtly patriotic symbols, invoking terms like liberty and freedom continue to instill this myth in the minds of the American people. Attached to the abortion debate is now a debate over how and when you can protest.
Today's Democrat Party believes in violence. They believe in mob rule. They believe in intimidation. These thugs have no business at the private homes of any government officials, these Supreme Court justices or anyone else. On January 6th of 2021, you had tens of thousands of people peacefully protesting, and yet the corporate media and Democrats slander them with the made-up term insurrectionist.
We're still taking metal, sharpened objects, missiles, to include bottles and rocks, and hand-thrown chemical-grade fireworks.
Because of this looming decision, people have gathered at the homes of Supreme Court justices to protest. We've seen them at Kavanaugh's house, we've seen them at Alito's house, and they've all been peaceful. But the right is trying to spin this myth that these are out-of-control mobs trying to intimidate Supreme Court justices. Now, this is the same right that supported the attack on the Capitol on January 6th, a very violent one, where they broke into the Capitol and killed people along the way. One of those people is Josh Hawley, the senator from Missouri who really leaned into January 6th. You probably remember his iconic fist pump he gave to the crowd before the riot. He later went on to sell merchandise. Yeah, merchandise, with that picture of him pumping his fist to the January 6th crowd. Now, he's deeply worried about protests outside of Supreme Court justices' homes. Now, that is hypocritical. But again, people on the right don't care. So this represents a couple things. One, it's this hypocrisy. It's this total double standard where the right can do and say whatever they want and use the terms like liberty and freedom to describe what they're doing. But really, it's about controlling what people who don't fit into their ideal American archetype, what they can do. It works great if you're white, Christian, and well-to-do, and mostly male. But if you are non-white, if you are a woman, if you are Muslim, if you are trans, if you are gay, and especially if you're black, you don't get the same sort of freedom and liberty that the right benefits from or wants to benefit from. If you're trans right now, your entire existence is under attack. This decision also hints at potential threats and attacks on marriage equality. So if you're gay, your marriage might be under attack next. What this could do is totally jeopardize the rights of marginalized groups in this country. But they're going to continue pushing this freedom myth anyway, and I would encourage you to push back while also recognize the Democrats are not the ideal alternative. There are plenty of things that we need to hold them accountable for, because right now, neither party truly represents freedom in this country. So take a dual-pronged approach. Beat back the right while holding the left accountable, and we'd be much better off for it.